1 to The Battle of Marathon by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recorded by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. The Battle of Marathon by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Book 1. The war of Greece with Persia's haughty king. No vulgar strain, eternal goddess, sing. What dreary ghosts to glutted Pluto fled? What nations suffered, and what heroes bled? Sing, Asia's powerful prince, who envious saw the fame of Athens and her might in war, and scorns her power at Cytherea's call, her ruin plans and meditates her fall. How Athens, blinded to the approaching chains by Vulcan's artful spouse, unmoved remains. Deceived by Venus thus, unconquered Greece forgot her glories in the lap of peace, while Asia's realms and Asia's lord prepare to ensnare her freedom by the wiles of war. Hippoust exult upon the Athenian throne, where once Pisistratus his father shone, for yet her son Aeneas wrongs impart, revenge and grief to Cytherea's heart. And still from smoking Troy's once sacred wall does Priam's reeking shade for vengeance call. Minerva saw, and Paphia's queen defied, a boon she begged, nor Jove the boon denied, that Greece should rise triumphant o'er her foe, disarm the invaders, and their power overthrow. Her prayer obtained, the blue-eyed goddess flies, as the fierce eagle through the radiant skies. To Aristides then she stood confessed, shows Persia's arts and fires his warlike breast. Then pours celestial ardour o'er his frame, and points the way to glory and to fame. Awe-struck the chief, and swells his troubled soul, in pride and wonder thoughts progressive roll. He inly groaned, and smote his labouring breast, at once by Pallas and by care oppressed. Inspired he moved, earth echoed where he trod, all full of heaven, all burning with the god. The Athenians viewed with awe the mighty man, to whom the chief impassioned thus began: "Hear, all ye sons of Greece, friends, fathers, hear! The gods command it, and the gods revere. No madness mine, for mark, O favoured Greeks, that by my mouth the martial goddess speaks. This know, Athenians, that proud Persia now prepares to twine thy laurels on her brow. Behold her princely chiefs their weapons wield, by Venus fired, and shake the brazen shield. I hear their shouts that echo to the skies, I see their lances blaze, their banners rise, I hear the clash of arms, the battle's roar, and all the din and thunder of the war. I know that Greeks shall purchase just renown, and fame impartial shall Athena crown. Then, Greeks, prepare your arms, award the yoke, thus Jove commands, sublime the hero spoke. The Greeks assent with shouts, and rend the skies with martial clamour, and tumultuous cries, so struggling winds with rage indignant sweep the azure waters of the silent deep. Sudden the seas rebellowing frightful rise, and dash their foaming surges to the skies, burst the firm sand, and boil with dreadful roar, lift their black waves, and combat with the shore. So each brave Greek in thought aspires to fame, stung by his words, and dread of future shame. Glory's own fires within their bosom rise, and shouts tumultuous thunder to the skies. But love's celestial queen resentful saw the Greeks, by Pallas warned, prepare for war. The indignant goddess of the Paphian bower deceives Themistocles with heavenly power. The hero rising spoke, "O rashly blind! What sudden fury thus has seized thy mind? Boy as thou art, such empty dreams beware! Shall we for griefs and wars unsought prepare? The will of mighty Jove, whatever it be, obey, and own the omnipotent decree. If our disgrace and fall the Fates employ, why did we triumph o'er perfidious Troy? Why, say, O Chief, in that eventful hour did Grecian heroes crush Dardanian power?" Him eyeing sternly, thus the Greek replies, renowned for truth, and as Minerva wise: "O son of Greece, no heedless boy am I, despised in battle's toils, nor first to fly, nor dreams or frenzy call my words astray. The heaven-sent mandate pious I obey. If Pallas did not all my words inspire, may heaven pursue me with unceasing ire! But if, O grant my prayer, almighty Jove, I bear a mandate from the courts above, then through yon heaven let awful thunder roar, till Greeks believe my mission and adore." He ceased, and through the host one murmur ran, with eyes transfixed upon the godlike man. But hark! over earth expands the solemn sound, it lengthening grows, heaven's azure vaults resound, while peals of thunder beat the echoing ground. Prostrate, convinced, divine Themistocles embraced the hero's hands and clasped his knees. "Behold me here!" the awe-struck chieftain cries, while tears repentant glisten in his eyes. "Behold me here, thy friendship to entreat, Themistocles, a suppliant at thy feet. Before no haughty despot's royal throne this knee has bent, it bends to thee alone, thy mission to adore, thy truth to own. Behold me, Jove, and witness what I swear, by all on earth I love, by all in heaven I fear. Some fiend inspired my words of dark design, some fiend concealed beneath a robe divine. Then aid me in my prayer, ye gods above, bid Aristides give me back his love." He spake and wept, benign the godlike man felt tears descend, and paused, then thus began: "Thrice worthy Greek, for this shall we contend? Ah no, I feel thy worth, thou more than friend. Pardon sincere, Themistocles, receive, the heart declares 'tis easy to forgive." He spake divine, his eye with Pallas burns, he spoke and sighed, and sighed and wept by turns. Themistocles beheld the chief oppressed, awestruck he paused, then rushed upon his breast, whom sage Miltiades with joy addressed. Hero of Greece, worthy a hero's name, adored by Athens, favourite child of fame, glory's own spirit does with truth combine, to form a soul so godlike, so divine. O Aristides, rise our chief to save the fame, the might of Athens from the grave, nor then refuse thy noble arm to lend, to guard Athena and her state defend. First I, obedient, customed homage pay, to own a hero's and a leader's sway, he said, and would have knelt. The man divine perceived his will, and stayed the sire's design. Not mine, O sage, to lead this gallant band, he generous said, and grasped his aged hand. Proud as I am in glory's arms to rise, Athenian Greeks, to shield your liberties, yet 'tis not mine to lead your powerful state. Enough it is to tempt you to be great. Be it for Miltiades, experienced sage, to curb your ardour and restrain your rage, your souls to temper, by his skill prepare to succour Athens and conduct the war. More fits my early youth to purchase fame, by deeds in arms to immortalize my name. Firmly he spake, his words the Greek inspire, and all were hushed to listen and admire. The sage thus, most allied to gods the fame, the pride, the glory of the Grecian name, even by thee, chief, I swear, to whom is given the sacred mandate of yon marble heaven, to lead, not undeserving of thy love, to avert the yoke, if so determines Jove. Amidst the host imagination rose, and paints the combat, but disdains the woes. And heaven-born fancy, with dishevelled hair, points to the ensanguined field, and victory there. But soon, too soon, these empty dreams are driven forth from their breasts, but soothing hope is given, hope sprung from Jove, man's soul, and envied heaven. Then all his glory Aristides felt, and begged the chieftain's blessing as he knelt. Miltiades, his pious arms outspread, called Jove's high spirit on the hero's head, nor called unheard. Sublime in upper air, the bird of Jove appeared to bless his prayer. Lightning he breathed, not harsh, not fiercely bright, but one pure stream of heaven-collected light. Jove's sacred smile lulls every care to rest, calms every woe, and gladdens every breast. But what shrill blast thus bursts upon the ear? What banners rise? What heralds' forms appear? That haughty mien and that commanding face bespeak them Persians, and of noble race. One on whose hand Darius' signet beamed, superior to the rest, a leader seemed. With brow contracted and with flashing eye, thus threatening spoke in scornful majesty: "Know, Greeks, that I, a sacred herald, bring the awful mandate of the Persian king, to force allegiance from the sons of Greece, then earth and water give, nor scorn his peace. For if for homage back reproof I bear, to meet his wrath, his vengeful wrath prepare. For not in vain ye scorn his dread command, when Asia's might comes thundering in his hand. To whom Miltiades with kindling eye. We scorn Darius, and his threats defy. And now, proud herald, shall we stoop to shame? Shall Athens tremble at a tyrant's name? Persian away, such idle dreams forbear, and shun our anger and our vengeance fear. O vain thy words, the herald fierce began, thrice vain thy dotaged words, O powerless man! Sons of a desert, hoping to withstand all the joint forces of Darius' hand. Fools, fools, the king of millions to defy, for freedom's empty name to ask to die. Yet stay, till Persia's powers their banners rear, then shall ye learn our forces to revere, and ye, O impotent, shall deign to fear. To whom great Aristides, rising ire, boiled in his breast, and set his soul on fire. "O wretch accursed," the hero cried, "to seek to insult experienced age, to insult a Greek, inglorious slave, whom truth and heaven deny, unfit to live, yet more unfit to die, but trained to pass the goblet at the board, and servile kiss the footsteps of thy lord, whose wretched life no glorious deeds beguile, who lives upon the semblance of a smile. Die, thy base shade to gloomy regions fled, join there the shivering phantoms of the dead. Base slave, return to dust." His victim then in fearful accents cried, "O best of men, most loved of gods, most merciful, most just, behold me humbled, grovelling in the dust. Not mine the offence, the mandate stern I bring from great Darius, Asia's tyrant king. O strike not, Chief, not mine the guilt, not mine. Ah, over those brows severe let mercy shine, so dear to heaven, of origin divine. Tributes, lands, gold, shall wealthy Persia give, all and yet more, but bid me wretched live." He trembling thus persuades, with fond entreat, and nearer pressed, and clasped the hero's feet. Forth from the Grecian's breast all rage is driven, he lifts his arms, his eyes, his soul to heaven. "Hear Jove omnipotent, all wise, all great, to whom all fate is known, whose will is fate. Hear, thou all-seeing one, hear, Sire divine, teach me thy will, and be thy wisdom mine. Behold this suppliant, life or death decree, be thine the judgment, for I bend to thee." And thus the Sire of gods and men replies, while pealing thunder shakes the groaning skies. The awful voice through spheres unknown was driven, resounding through the darkening realms of heaven. Aloft in air sublime the echo rode, and earth resounds the glory of the god. "Son of Athena, let the coward die, and his pale ghost to Pluto's empire fly. Son of Athena, our command obey, know thou our might, and then adore our sway." The Almighty spake, the heavens convulsive start, from the black clouds the whizzing lightnings dart, and dreadful dance along the troubled sky, struggling with fate in awful mystery. The hero heard, and Jove his breast inspired, nor now by pity touched, but anger fired, while his big heart within his bosom burns. Off from his feet the clinging slave he spurns. Vain were his cries, his prayers against fate above. Jove wills his fall, and who can strive with Jove? To whom the hero, "Hence to Pluto's sway, to realms of night never lit by Cynthia's ray. Hence, from yon gulf the earth and water bring, and crown with victory your mighty king." He said, and where the gulf of death appeared, where raging waves with rocks sublimely reared, he hurled the wretch, at once of hope bereaved. Struggling he fell, the roaring flood received, Even now for life his shrieks, his groans implore, and now death's latent agony is o'er. He struggling sinks, and sinks to rise no more. The train amazed behold their herald die, and Greece in arms, they tremble and they fly. So some fair herd upon the verdant mead see by the lion's jaws their foremost bleed. Fearful they fly, lest what revolving fate had doomed their leader should themselves await. Then shouts of glorious war and fame resound, Athena's brazen gates receive the lofty sound. But she whom Paphia's radiant climes adore, from her own bower the work of Pallas saw. Tumultuous thoughts within her bosom rise, she calls her car, and at her will it flies. The eternal car with gold celestial burns, its polished wheel on brazen axle turns. This to his spouse by Vulcan's self was given, an offering worthy of the forge of heaven. The goddess mounts the seat and seized the reins, the doves celestial cut the ethereal plains. Before the sacred birds and car of gold, self-moved the radiant gates of heaven unfold. She then dismounts, and thus to mighty Jove begins the mother and the queen of love. And is it thus, O sire, that fraud should spring from the pure breast of heaven's eternal King? Was it for this Saturnius word was given, that Greece should fall 'mong nations cursed of heaven? Thou swore by hell's black flood and heaven above. Is this, O say, is this the faith of Jove? Behold, stern Pallas Athens' sons alarms, Darius' herald crushed, the Greece in arms. Even now behold her crested streamers fly, each Greek resolved to triumph or to die. Ah me unhappy, when shall sorrow cease? Too well I know the fatal might of Greece. Was it not enough imperial Troy should fall, that Argive hands should raise the god-built wall? Was it not enough Anchises' son should roam far from his native shore and much-loved home? All this, unconscious of thy fraud, I bore, for thou, O sire, to allay my vengeance swore, that Athens, towering in her might, should fall, and Rome should triumph on her prostrate wall. But oh, if haughty Greece should captive bring the great Darius, Persia's mighty king, what power her pride, what power her might shall move? Not even the Thunderer, not eternal Jove, even to thy heaven shall rise her towering fame, and prostrate nations will adore her name. Rather on me thy instant vengeance take, then all should fall for Cytherea's sake. Oh, hurl me flaming in the burning lake, transfix me there unknown to Olympian calm. Launch thy red bolt and bare thy crimson arm, I'd suffer all, more, bid my woes increase, to hear but one sad groan from haughty Greece. She thus her grief with fruitless rage expressed, and pride and anger swelled within her breast. But he whose thunders o'er the troubled sky thus mournful spake, and curbed the rising sigh. And it is thus celestial pleasures flow? Even here shall sorrow reach, and mortal woe? Shall strife the heavenly powers for ever move, and even insult the sacred ear of Jove? No, O rebellious! Greece shall rise sublime in fame the first, nor, daughter, mine the crime, in valour foremost, and in virtue great. Fame's highest glories shall attend her state, so fate ordains. Nor all my boasted power can raise those virtues or those glories lower. But rest secure, destroying time must come, and Athens' self must own imperial Rome. Then the great Thunderer, and with visage mild, shook his ambrosial curls before his child, and bending awful gave the eternal nod. Heaven quaked, and fate adored the parent God. Joy seized the goddess of the smiles and loves, nor longer care her heavenly bosom moves. Hope rose, and o'er her soul its powers displayed, nor checked by sorrow, nor by grief dismayed. She thus: "O thou, whose awful thunders roll through heaven's ethereal vaults and shake the pole, eternal Sire, so wonderfully great, to whom is known the secret page of fate, say, shall great Persia, next to Rome most dear to Venus' breast, shall Persia learn to fear? Say, shall her fame and princely glories cease? Shall Persia, servile, own the sway of Greece?" To whom the Thunderer bent his brow divine, and thus in accents heavenly and benign: "Daughter, not mine the secrets to relate, the mysteries of all revolving fate, but ease thy breast. Enough for thee to know what powerful fate decrees will Jove bestow." He then her griefs and anxious woes beguiled, and in his sacred arms embraced his child. Doubt clouds the goddess' breast, she calls her car, and lightly sweeps the liquid fields of air, when sable night midst silent nature springs, and over Athena shakes her drowsy wings. The Paphian goddess from Olympus flies, and leaves the starry senate of the skies. To Athens, heaven blest, towers the Queen repairs, to raise more sufferings and cause more cares. The Pylian sage she moved, so loved by fame, in face, in wisdom, and in voice the same. 12 chiefs in sleep absorbed and grateful rest she first beheld, and them she thus addressed: "Immortal chiefs," the fraudful goddess cries, while all the hero kindled in her eyes, "for you these aged arms did I employ, for you we raised the sacred walls of Troy, and now for you my shivering shade is driven from Pluto's dreary realms by urgent heaven. Then oh, be wise, nor tempt the unequal fight in open fields, but wait superior might within immortal Athens' sacred wall. There strive, there triumph, nor there fear to fall. To own the Thunderer's sway, then Greeks prepare." Benign she said, and melted into air. End of Book 1. Recorded by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com.